Here's a review of the Lost Horizons 4.5-inch self-inflating sleeping pad in full. For the past few years, me and my wife have been using regular air mattresses for going camping, and we never found them comfortable. Even last year, we upgraded to a king coil, which is almost like a 16-inch air mattress, and we thought that would make a difference. And an air mattress is still an air mattress, no matter the size of it, at least in our opinion. So someone turned us on to these self-inflating pads that actually have foam inside of them, and we thought we'd give it a go. Now, as you can see, it's very low to the ground. You're only a few inches off the ground, but it is a whole night and day difference from a regular air mattress. Yes, you do fill it up with air, but the foam is the majority of it, and that's what you feel when you sit on it. I am not hitting the ground, even just sitting on it with all my weight centered in one area. And when I lay on my side, I'm definitely not hitting the ground. And what's cool about this is the desired inflated that this wanted to be. So basically what happens is it came in this tiny little box. And as you can see, this box is very small in comparison, and it's rolled up as tightly as possibly can be. And then what you do is there's these two plugs on one end there and then one end over here, and you turn it to where there's this little pokey thing sticking out, and that allows it to inflate on its own. Now, once you first get it out of the box, it's gonna take a minute to do this because it's been so tightly wound up, but after you deflate it and then re-inflate it, let it do its thing, it is a lot quicker. Now, both of the plugs go to the same mattress. It's not like it's split or anything. It just makes it faster to inflate, faster to deflate. But this, at the thickness that it is now, is where it wanted to be. And then the instructions recommend to inflate it more if you want to have more of a firmer. But this is already firm, and we actually wanted to try to deflate it a little bit. It was actually kind of tough because to deflate these things, you have to turn that tab over and then like kind of press on it and push on it. If you're ever used to like pool floaties where you got to lay on it, it's kind of like that with this one because the foam is so thick. So it's a plus and a minus. It's very comfortable, very thick, but also a lot harder to deflate because of that. Now, the storage or carrying case also doubles as an inflator sack, so you can inflate it more if you want that more firmer feel. But honestly, this is not my favorite thing to use, so I actually used a vacuum, or I also have a portable pump that's battery operated that I use for floaties or for air mattresses. And if you have one of those, which most people do, I would use that over the bag. The bag just, it takes some getting used to, but I mean, it works. It's just a lot faster to plug something in and just go for it. Like when I was indoors like this, I just used the vacuum, super quick. Now, as I mentioned, this is a full, and it fits me and my wife and then our 8-month-old as well. We use it to get her to sleep first, and then we put her in her pack and play when we're camping. And I thought we would need like a bigger one since we had 3 of us, but no, this is just fine. I kind of sleep here. I have some room on the side. My wife sleeps here, have some room on the side, and then our baby's in the middle. Now, we're pretty small people, so it's gonna differ between on the size of the person using it, but for us, it works just fine. For comparison, underneath, I have the Acacia version of the Queen. And we got this one as well because, like I said, I thought the full would be too small for 3 people, but it wasn't. So we got the Queen as well. The Queen ended up being just a little too big for our 4-person tent, which we have an oversized 4-person tent, and with the Queen in there, although it's only just like a hand length width of it apart, we couldn't get all of our gear in there plus the baby's pack and play, so we decided once we put the full in there that it was a complete night and day difference, and we liked it a lot better. But oddly enough, we ended up liking the Acacia better because it's just a different material, and this one's more comfy and more foamy, and it might just be the one that we got unlucky. But I don't know if you can see it in the picture, but there's this crease here, and we've tried deflating it, inflating it, bending it the other way, rolling on it, letting it do its thing, but you notice it when you sleep on it. So my wife's over here and I'm here, and then when we roll into the middle together, you feel like a hard pressed crease. So I went on there to see if anyone else had that issue, and it didn't seem that anyone did. So maybe I just got a dud, but the Acacia, although softer and not as foamy, did not have that issue, and it was just as comfortable to us, even though this is more soft and nice and plush, I guess. So we're gonna actually be going with the Acacia full size because it is easier to deflate versus this one because it is so thick. But if you just want that, like the most comfort you're gonna feel, then I would probably get the Acacia one if you don't mind taking extra time to deflate it and stuff. But just make sure it doesn't have this weird crease like ours did. Honestly, kind of bums me out because I can't give it the best review that I want to, because after 2 nights of it, we were kind of like, oh, I don't know about this. And we thought about exchanging it and then getting a different one, but we liked the Acacia, so we're just kind of like, well, we didn't have problems with that one, so let's just go with that. Now, I'm not mentioning the widths and heights of these because they are in the descriptions. We actually taped it on our floor and measured it before we bought either of them to see if they would fit. But I will note that the Lost Horizon is a little bit longer. You do actually get an extra inch on it, but I'm 6 feet tall and I did not notice any problems with this at all on the Acacia one. So the instructions actually say to flip the tabs over to the deflation side and then roll it out. And to be completely honest, you could do that, but it's gonna take a while. So I actually just used the vacuum and just sucked it all out. But as you can see, the crease is way more there once you have it deflated. So obviously that's where they kind of just shipped it and bent it over and everything, but I just don't know why it won't come out. The Acacia one did not have that problem. But now I'm just gonna roll it out to the best of my ability, and if you had old sleeping bags back in the day, you know how this goes and how it's not fun. Luckily, the bag they included is extra, extra large, because even with a vacuum deflation method and rolling it up as tight as I could, you have to have a special technique to get this thing any tighter. So the Acacia shrinks down a lot more than the Lost Horizon, and that has to do with the fact that there's a lot more foam in that Lost Horizon one. And a good observation was that the Lost Horizon was slower to deflate, but if you're gonna do it manually, they're both slow to deflate. Neither of them are gonna win speed competitions, but this one was a little bit easier. But like I said, I would definitely recommend using a mechanical vacuum or pump to do both the inflating and the deflating. So after testing and using both, my pick would have to be for the Acacia, but in the full size. So the size of the Lost Horizon, but the Acacia brand. Because although it looks like the Acacia is bigger right here, it is just roughly rolled up and it fits into its bag. The Lost Horizon, I had to step on it, sit on it, squeeze it, and then tighten it with these straps that it came with like crazy to even get it back in its own bag. The Acacia doesn't even care, it just goes right in. So yes, it's a little bit bigger, but I could also tighten that down and make it smaller and easier to maneuver. Neither of them are heavy, so that's not gonna be a factor to consider. When you're going this route, you're obviously gonna have a big bed to begin with, but that's how you're gonna get that comfort that you're looking for when you're camping. But given that the problem I had with the thing in the middle with the crease on this that wouldn't come out, the easier time deflating this one and inflating it and putting it in its bag, I'm personally going with the Acacia. My wife likes the Acacia. Lost Horizon isn't bad. It's just this more suits our style. We're very lazy and we want as least resistance as possible with things. So the extra little steps it takes to deflate this one, because its thickness and its comfort, just makes this one a winner for us.